Once again, I'm being very slow with all of this. Guess that's the curse when the summer comes and you don't really feel that motivated anymore. It's a curse, really. But I just wish sometimes there were better, extremely good reviewers of this manga. Will make it even more interesting. But yes, it's me, the Angry Anime fan, the Despair reviewer, although I'm not really that much of a full-time reviewer anymore. And I sometimes just review Eden Zero, even though that has also been very slow. And this is a collaboration, not a collaboration, wrong words, of a couple of Eden Zero chapters. And we begin first with 201. Last time we all learned about the fact that all the mothers had been captured, as well as the fact that Rebecca's mother was Saint Fire Knox, who is standing right here in front of her. Rebecca herself do not really know how that happens. After all, she was only on Blue Garden. She doesn't know anything about her parents, nor does she even know how this is going on. But she is the only one who is alive. The rest are actually dead. So, despite this, Rebecca is still hesitant. But Homura proclaims they can at least rescue their own mothers, and saying that our friends are in the middle of a battle. Hearing about that again, Rebecca realizes that maybe she has to do it, and says that they have to use the warrior maid to recover as many as they can. And then they will activate the thing. Back on the ship, Hermitor rejoins the captain for keep on fighting of it all, as well as saying that they need to somehow damage Dead End Crow, but he somehow absorbs all the damage he does, and the only thing they can do it is the Eden Zero Star main cannon. So, the temporarily ally Holy says that if they can get open the core, maybe they can fire it into it. It is also revealed that the witch combat unit that she controls actually has the same kind of magic as she does, including fire and lightning. However, while we do not hear it ourselves, it seems also to imply that Dead and Crow also has ether gear. Although it's not exactly confirmed if that is the case, especially but the ether lines are still there. Holy is determined to destroy Dead and Crow, and even managed to activate her ether gear, who we now learn is simply named Melt, because after all it has the power to melt. Our original name. They managed to create a hole, however tentacles of the robot things pulls in Holy, making it impossible for the Eden Zero crew to fire up. Then we're switching back to 20,000 years later about the robots that found the two human remains. Actually confirmed that the male is dead. No, sorry. The male is alive. The female is dead. And they're going to, and apparently in this timeline, humanity had been extinct. So this is the first time they ever find one. Then how the hell did that human survive for 20,000 years? Huh. Well, I guess that's just another mystery. It is also revealed that their base of planet is on the planet Eden, who awfully looks familiar. Is it Blue Garden? Is Blue Garden eventually gonna become Eden? Or was that swirly thing the same thing as Shiki's old planet? I don't really remember. Then we're switching to chapter 202. And Dead and Crow activates his full overdrive form. Again, it's not confirmed if he has an ether gear, especially since it seemed that Hermito could enter an overdrive despite the fact that she's confirmed to not have an ether gear herself. But in his overdrive form, he looks even more like a demon. But also seems to become very tall and a spider-like legs. Which makes it even stranger the fact that he can become so fast. And he managed to even hit the Eden Zero, but do not destroy it. Shiki and Ziggy's fight resumes, and it's even revealed that Shiki can now control debris the same way that Siggy and Shura could. As the fight gets more intense, though, Shiki managed to land a hit on Ziggy's mask, causing it to break, revealing that yes, there is a human face underneath that. And what that is, we do not learn yet. Holy awakes inside of Dead End Crow, and she believes if she can find his core, she will be able to destroy him. She is then confronted by a, well, sort of naked, although not completely, version of Dead End Crow. But this is a physical manifestation of his personality. Then we get a clue on why Holy has such a grudge against Dead End Crow. But it's also revealed that he is creating ether jammers to prevent her from using the ether gear. While Dead End Crow do not remember who Holy is, he does feel like her face is somewhat familiar. And it's revealed that on the Atmos Day, one of those people that Dead End Crow annihilated were her sister. And and for Holy herself, well, she was... and it's revealed that although Dead End Crow may not remember it, he does have it in his Enduring data. He killed Holy's sister Sarah and allowed Holy to live by stripping her naked and hanging her in the square for everyone to see. So yeah, that definitely would create a motivational hatred. It also creates a little bit of a dramatic irony of the fact that Holy is a very strong, shameless fan service girl. She dresses proactively and she's very flirty. But it actually turns out that she has been subjected for shameful stripping, being hung and staked naked, almost the same way as Shura always treated his women. But Dead End Crow treated her like a pet well, not a pet, but a humiliation of it all. A minute though, I just have to check something. Sorry about that. A black day now, that the fact. So yeah, it's kind of a dramatic irony how much of a Holy had become. As the personality of Dead End Crow once are beginning to strangle her to death, he proclaims no one survives to fight with him. But then suddenly Jin and Laguna have entered his body, saying that Holy is their guests, and they are here to help her. And that ends chapter 202. And then we get to 203, which is the final chapter so far, of this review at least. And it's a controversial chapter, to say the least. Because it's confirmed my biggest theory, and the theory that everyone has had right. I'm basically just gonna spoil it right here and now. Yes, Siggy is Shiki. I was never a fan of that theory. It made very much sense, but I was never a fan of that theory anyway. Because it begs the question on just how. Even if it makes sense, it still doesn't explain the how. I know Eden Zero manga goes with time and time travel, so technically we shouldn't take this as a big complaint on how it makes sense logically. We should just accept it because it's the flow of time. But it still doesn't explain on how Siggy could survive a decapitation if he has a human inside of him, and that human is an older Shiki. Granted, we only got revealed that Siggy is Shiki here, but we haven't gotten a reveal is how that happened. Well, sort of not. So, yeah, the mystery of Siggy is not fully explained in this chapter. It's just a confirmation that all the theories has been completely true. But as for this chapter, well, it turns out that Laguna and Jin can use their ether gears because they have an ether jam canceller, and their apps, or more likely they're absorbing the jammer's electronic signal. In fact, when I saw the last chapter, I actually complained of where is Klein. I wanted her to have a piece of this. Well, it turns out that she is serving a purpose. She is cancelling Dead End Crow's ether jammers by using her own ether gear, since it snatches and takes everything. So, and Ethan Zero is also takes off. So with that, and then suddenly realizing that his electronic signals were jammed, he ironically asks what kind of monsters are on the crew, which is kind of ironic coming from a monster like him. Especially funny the fact that Jin gets offensive hearing that, and then Laguna says that Klein is cute. And hearing a sister actually makes Holy remember her own sister, which we see a brief picture of. And it turns out that the sister of Holy was actually a little girl, which makes the sadness of everything much more dire. It also really begs the question on just how old were Holy when Dead and Crow shamefully stripped her and humiliated her. She couldn't really have been that old. Granted, it's not exactly confirmed on how much older she is than the crew, because, well, if there's something that, while Hiro Mishima has excellent art, one thing that it's very difficult for him to express it, it's sometimes not exactly clear the age of women or men, although a little bit more clear with men than the women, on how old they are. She looks almost like she's 25. Realizing she can use her ether gear, she manages to eradicate the manifestation of Dead End Crow, but of course that is not the real Dead End Crow. And then she asks, why didn't they fire the cannon? Well, Holy was in there, so they don't do it, the crewmate. Holy says that she's not part of the crew. And it's the fact that, just like, well, Wise is on board for this, but just like many others are a little bit cautious of Holy, Laguna confirms that he and Jin are very cautious of her as well. But they consider Shiki a friend, and Shiki consider her a friend, and therefore they will respect Shiki's wishes. They're loyal to Shiki and his will, which makes the reveal that Siggy is Shiki all the more heartbreaking, if you ask me. So, so these three will go and destroy Dead and Crow inside. Meanwhile, the team of Rebecca have managed to find their mother's corpses and are thinking of taking them away. So, and even Wiser looks like that he thought that his mother was buried on Norma, but here is in perfect one place. And although Homura disowned her own mother a long time ago, she decides to give her a rest too, because after all there are too much death around her. So, and Rebecca still feels bad about the fact that she has to leave so many mothers behind. And especially since it is confirmed that every single person here had a child, since Siggy confirmed it himself. Everyone is a mother. And the fact that Siggy ripped away a family member. So she begs Shiki to defeat Siggy. Again makes the dramatic even more dramatic when the fact that Siggy is revealed, as we're switching back to the scene where Shiki destroyed Siggy's mask, revealing a only slightly more adult-looking face of Shiki. And he asks how is going on, and Siggy just says that everything is connected. As we see 20,000 years later in the future, the robots have tried to find a way to revive the body of that other Shiki. And eventually, though, he could speak. So they tried to speak his language, and they asked his name. And it turns out that then why he is called Siggy is because he couldn't properly say his name as Shiki. It only came out as saying Ziggy, and a broken piece of a man with a jack here and an eye that barely could function. As Siggy confirms, I am from 20 years in the future. I am you, Shiki. So yeah, that's basically this chapter. And as I said before, it is not revealed yet on why that is the case. Yes, he looks much, much older than Shiki, who himself looked actually kind of, well, old when in the time skip. But it does explain all of his behavior with saying that everything is connected. It also seems to suggest that this is why he knows about the planet thing and the fact that he knows what happened to the world 31. But it really begs the question on, again, things about this still does not make sense. How the hell did Shiki survive 20,000 years? And Xiao Mei herself said that time is irrelevant in this manga. So, but this is also a little bit of a callback on what Mother said in chapter 2 of the manga. You may not remember it, but when that when that chapter happened, she said something interesting. Will he become the hero of legend, or will he wreak havoc as a demon king? In a way, now that the fact that Siggy is revealed to be a future Shiki, this is almost like a parallel, because future Shiki, aka Siggy, is the demon that rampage, or that is the one who will wreak havoc as a demon king. While Shiki in the current present time, our main protagonist, is the hero of legend. So in a way, they are the same character, but they are different. They are evil, they are good. But how is that even possible? Is this Shiki's future? Or is it an alternate future? Because if this is the future, then why do Siggy wants to kill Shiki? Wouldn't that mean that he can die too? No, it cannot be like that. I am pretty sure Siggy is a future Shiki that is outside the realm of time, meaning that if he destroys the Shiki that he is now, then he won't die because he's out of the sync of the timeline. But it also seems to suggest why he holds hatred for Shiki. Maybe he blames him for every single thing of the favor. But why would Ziggy then hate humanity so much if he is human himself? In fact, is it even confirmed that he is a human here? I mean, he is an android, but is he a cyborg? I am beginning to wonder, maybe he is a fusion of both. Maybe he's both an android, a cyborg, and a human. That certainly brings a little bit darker light on why he holds such hatred towards humanity, because he was one himself before. It really is a boomerang bogot in that situation. But it also explains then why would he have such much hatred? He came from a future where biological organic things did not exist. Too many questions. And no single reveal. Only reveal that yes, the theories were correct and I was wrong. Siggy is a future Shiki. But how? We don't know. So give me your thoughts if you have any.